Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show. It's game day.
Welcome into the Dallas Mavericks postgame show.
Incorrect.
I'm Greg Tepper.
God, I hate it here.
Hey, I was very nice. I texted your boyfriend separately from you last night.
Good.
So, you're welcome.
Because I wanted nothing to do with that, nor would I have seen it. I passed out. I was so tired. It's been a long couple weeks, and I needed sleep.
Let me ask you a question. Ask you something. Because I just got a message from my wife.
My wife?
When you were growing up, or maybe still now, I don't want to judge you. I'm not here to yuck your yum. Okay. Whatever. Did you like splashing in puddles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kid doesn't?
Yeah, because Max presently, right now, the update from home is that they're splashing in puddles, which it's prime puddle weather right now. We got just downpoured for about
the last night was insane.
8 hours. Straight out, and like real deluge stuff. And so there were a lot of puddles, and because Max has, rain boots. You can call them galoshes if you want, but he's got he's all about the puddles right now. But one of the things, this brings me to my point, which is about Peppa Pig. Are you familiar with? Are you familiar? It's really not. Are you familiar with Peppa Pig?
I am familiar with Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig is a pig. An animated pig. But her whole bit is that her favorite thing is splashing in muddy puddles.
Muddy...
That's the thing. And that's why I think we need to stop Peppa Pig. Because all it's doing is is giving my kids the idea of like going and splashing in muddy puddles. Now, we all agree just a puddle, like
Puddle's perfectly fine.
Like just a normal puddle, like that you find on the street. Mm-hmm. Go nuts, young man.
Yeah.
Have fun. But the muddy part of it really adds to
now
the
Peppa
danger.
is a pig, and pigs do love mud, so they're being factual. Pigs love mud. That's very common knowledge.
Yeah, my question is, do you think that the goal of the Peppa Pig creators is to really reflect reality? This is about talking pigs.
Well, exactly. Talking pigs is far-fetched, so you needed mud to counteract the far-fetchedness. You don't want your kids learning bad things.
But what I agree, I think that telling children that the goal is to go and splash in muddy puddles, I'm just saying I don't know what the Tide Corporation's been up to.
Yeah.
But it would not surprise me if they are shadow funding Peppa Pig.
Yeah, going back to the original thing, regular puddles are fine because likely you're going to go take a bath or
I'm sure he'll have a bath
afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But the key for it not being that in mud is the fact that if it's in mud, you're going to trek it in the house.
Right.
And then you have a kid and a house to clean.
Yes.
If it's just water, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's easy to put a towel down and wipe up some water. It's a lot harder to trek mud in, especially if you have carpet at any point in time.
Right.
So mud puddles are not cool.
No. Down with mud puddles. And that's why we need to rise up against Peppa Pig is all I'm saying.
Like dogs are the same way.
The other thing I don't like about Peppa Pig is that
I don't like her voice.
She's British.
Nasally.
She's British.
Yeah.
We don't like the Brits.
We don't?
I mean, name one British thing you like.
Fair.
You can't. Can't name one thing. That's right. Texas Football Today is taking on the British Empire.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
No.
That's right. Come at us. Who else? Zuckerberg. What are these other really powerful entities that we've just declared war on? British Empire.
Definitely Facebook.
Zuckerberg.
I feel like I've declared war on quite a few things on this show. So much.
Weather.
Always.
Obviously. Like we're against weather. Which again feeds into the muddy puddles, which it's all one thing, guys.
And somehow
it's the metaverse.
Zuckerberg is at the base of it. If we can take down Zuckerberg, we will.
The Tide Corporation.
Yeah, everything falls if we take down Zuckerberg.
It all leads back to Zuck. It all leads back to Zuck.
Yeah.
And I want to be very clear. This is not a violent threat. This has nothing to do with violence. But we are going to clown on Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes. I will not be stopped.
That's what we're going to do. And I hope he's watching on his website. Thanks for letting us host on it. Hit the theme, Expo. Pickle! Did the error sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It's Texas Football Today, a show with a lot of hand gestures. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine, texasfootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live at texasfootball.com,
what is up with
Facebook,
this?
YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you listen to us in the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part. Support your local mediocre.
I'm having to watch it back on the
show.
stream over here.
I'm sitting here. Yeah, you weren't paying attention. I'm sitting over there at the helm today. Big fan of my hand motions. She's the Duchess of the Dork. She's Ashley Pickle.
Too much. Dial it back.
No.
Take it down a notch.
No.
At least with the hand motions.
Look, I've been doing this for 1,670 episodes.
And we've never needed hand motions, so we don't need
I'm
them
saying
now.
we got to keep it fresh.
This is not fresh. That's stale.
Disagree. Hard disagree.
Crusty.
Today is Thursday, October 26th, 2023. 4 weeks
Oh, my.
from Thanksgiving.
Ah!
4 weeks from today. There's no, you could say if there's 31 days left, you could say we're not a month till Thanksgiving.
Right.
I think you're wrong, but whatever. There's no excuses now.
No.
We're 4 weeks out. We're 28 days from Thanksgiving. You know that movie 28 Days Later? 28 days later from now, it'll be Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Pat Sajak. Pat Sajak's 77 today. It's episode 1680. On today's show, folks, big show. Got my top 10 Texas high school football games of the week in a just ludicrous slate of games across the state of Texas. Yeah. We will go through this. Then we'll be joined by the head coach of the undefeated Stamford Bulldogs. Coach Wayne Hutchinson will join us. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he used to coach Stamford. And now he's coaching Stamford again. Led them to a state championship back in 2012. We'll talk to him about, we'll talk to the once and future Stamford Bulldogs head coach Wayne Hutchinson coming up here in a moment. Then back out the show, the picks, my high school football predictions for week 10 of the Texas high school football season. So stick around for all of that fun. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. Paul Roberts, whose football opinion you can trust. Lau Good, jersey number 69, and Just Chad, welcome in, fellas.
Okay. I mean, it's a good first four through the door.
Mm-hmm. The best.
Could be great. All right, Pickle. Week 10 of the Texas high school football season is here. And it's big. And it's honestly...
This is a brand name shopper's heaven.
It is. It is irresponsible. Do you know what I mean? It's an irresponsibly large week 10. We need to...
It feels like a regional semifinal round.
It is stupid. It's stupid. And you're right. That's a great way to put it. It's brand name. A couple of weeks ago, we kind of had to do some selling on you, and we were like, it's bag of cereal week. It's still good, but you got to go. Don't be looking for the name brand. This is the Fruit Loops episode.
Mm-hmm. Why out of everything, Fruit Loops?
I just know that there's a lot of knockoff Fruit Loops.
Okay, that's
right.
Fair.
Everyone's got a knockoff Fruit Loop, but there's only one OG.
I would have gone Frosted Flakes or something. Things people like.
Wow.
I don't like Fruit Loops.
It's time for my Week 10 Top 10 Texas High School Football Games of the Week. And it is a shocking slate of games. Yeah. Let's start 7 o'clock Friday night in DeSoto at Eagle Stadium as the number 1 Duncanville Panthers take on the number 3 DeSoto Eagles in a matchup of defending 6A state champs.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
You darn right it is. You can watch this live on TexanLive.com. We'll talk a lot about this in the picks video, but this is a heavyweight matchup of the highest order, and I think it's an opportunity to learn a lot about Duncanville, who we really haven't seen play a team in their weight class, with all due respect. Now the good teams they've played, they've swatted aside. Well, here's an elite team in DeSoto, plain and simple. And the quarterback matchup's great. The offensive line, defensive line matchup's great. The coaching matchup's great. The smack talk is great. All this is really good. I do not need to talk you into Duncanville DeSoto. Watch Duncanville DeSoto. Okay?
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
It is 2 defending state champs at the highest classification. It's title for title. It's Hogan versus Warrior. This is it. So, week 10, it's kicking off a huge game. Then, somehow the second best game in the state.
Wild.
7 o'clock Friday night, Galena Park ISD Stadium. It is the number 7 Humble Atascocita Eagles visiting the number 2 Galena Park North Shore Mustangs.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
Oh, yeah. Can you believe it, folks? This game's huge. And one of the things that I'll bring up, for all the things that are great about Duncanville DeSoto, functionally, not a ton on the line as far as playoffs are concerned.
Yes.
They're going different divisions. It would take a massive upset for them not to be the number 1 seed in each of their respective divisions. Duncanville's going D1, DeSoto going D2. With that said, Atascocita North Shore does not have that. Atascocita North Shore is not only a top 7 matchup in 6A, but it is also for the number 1 seed out of District 21 6A. Massive quarterback matchup here. Zion Brown taking on Caleb Bailey. A lot of this comes down to what you, and your mileage may vary on this, but what you think of what Atascocita did against C.E. King last week, which was kind of
looking ahead.
Yeah, was it just a look-ahead factor?
Or was it...
Or did C.E. King expose something?
Expose something, yep.
Right? That's the big question. fascinating in this one. One thing Matt Stepp has brought up, and I agree with him, North Shore has not unleashed Caleb Bailey, the runner, yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the time they take off the reins? Keep an eye on that one. North Shore Atascocita. I also do not need to talk you into this one. Massive game live on TexanLive.com.
Gavin Moritz on the call for that one.
Fabulous. Then, let's go to Justin, to Northwest ISD Stadium for a state-ranked top 11 matchup of unbeatens as the number 6 Southlake Carroll Dragons take on the number 11 Byron Nelson Bobcats.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
What?
Yeah.
Doing workout here, folks. I think we're just sitting around with our thumb up our butt. You wrong. This game is massive. And an opportunity, I don't think this is an overstatement, is an opportunity for Byron Nelson to get the biggest win in program history. Southlake Carroll's coming to town, and this Byron Nelson defense is legit. I also love this new quarterback, Tom Van Groot, who had huge. Jake Wilson, who was the state's leading passer, like the state's second leading passer last year, graduated, and we had big questions. Okay, well, they're going to have to find a quarterback. Well, Tom Van Groot has stepped up in a big way, and his receivers are awesome. Very, very deep. They got a running back in Tucker James I really like. This Byron Nelson team's for real. The money matchup here is this Byron Nelson defense against the Southlake Carroll offense. Graham Knowles, Riley Wormley, the newly eligible Riley Wormley, Jacob Jordan on the outside, Davis Penn. That's the real money matchup in this one. Massive game for the District 4-6A crown, just like it was last year. Huge game. Carroll and Nelson on TexanLive.com. Then, let's go to the Brazos Valley. 7 o'clock Friday night at Tiger Stadium in College Station. They don't really have a name for this game. I was looking this up.
No, but they should.
Yeah, I've just called it the Battle for the Brazos Valley.
That seems fair.
As the College Station Cougars take on the A&M Consolidated Tigers in a game for the District 11-5A Division I crown. Now, A&M Consolidated cannot clinch outright the district crown with a win, but they can certainly, I think they can clinch a share. I think they already have a loss is the problem in district. College Station can clinch the district title with a win. College Station, they're doing that thing again where they lose a game early and then we kind of put them in the dustbin. And then you look up now and they're 7-1.
And then Adrian Martinez-Brown does that thing where he just keeps running.
Let me tell you, Aiden Martinez-Brown is awesome. Arrington Maiden, their quarterback, is really good as well. And their defense has been pretty good. They are two teams that play a different style. Console is a team that's defense first, and their defense has been outstanding all year long. Trace Meadows leading that squad. The offense has been a little bit up and down. They need to win a game in the 20s. If this game gets into the 30s, I'm not sure Consolidated can match up with College Station. The other thing about this, and Step brought this up on Tep and Step, do you know College Station's never beaten Console? I'm sorry, that's reverse.
I was like,
Console's never beaten College Station.
Yeah, okay, that one makes more sense.
Like, theoretically, again,
that is wild.
Big Brother has never beaten Little Brother.
Yeah,
like
their
but like
8th season.
Yeah,
College Station is
wild, right?
Yeah.
So, huge game down there in the Brazos Valley, A&M Consolidated and College Station. Then, let's go to Conroe for a Thursday night affair, and a top 25 matchup between the undefeated Willis Wildcats and the number 25 ranked The Woodlands Highlanders.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live tonight.
That's right. We keep on rolling, baby. The Woodlands is another team, much in that same vein as College Station, in the sense that like we kind of just said, oh, okay, well, like you guys lost 2 games early. Like they started off 0-2. They got beat by North Shore and they got beat by Houston Lamar, and they got beat, pretty soundly. We're like, okay, well that's enough for you. Well, since then they've been awesome. Mm-hmm. They've been really good, and they've been lighting it up offensively. Maybe your Metower, Quanell Farrakhan, they have been outstanding. And that is going to be a real test for this Willis team that I think people are ready to jump on board this train. Like, I've been on this train. We've been on this train. But I think more people are ready to hop on this train. Willis behind DJ Lagway has been great, but they're much more. We keep saying it. They're much more than just DJ Lagway. The defense has been very good, and they've got playmakers all over the field. This is a fabulous game, and this is a game where if Willis wins this, I think people really start talking about them as a serious threat to DeSoto in Region 2.
Yeah,
if they win this game,
have to be.
I I think if they win, they got to win this game though.
And if you're just interested in watching games for prospects, like this is hog heaven for anybody who's
DJ
like, super deep
Lagway,
into recruiting.
Quanell Farrakhan, maybe Matauer. This is an awesome, awesome game. Then let's go to the big country for a really tantalizing matchup in the small school ranks, as the undefeated Stamford Bulldogs visit the reigning state champion, the number 6 ranked Hawley Bearcats. And Stamford quietly has put together an awesome year. We're going to talk with their head coach, Wayne Hutchinson, coming up here in just a moment. But this Stamford team has very quietly put together a 7-0 team. I'm not sure why it's been so quiet. I think part of it is that there's a real argument that until last week or 2 weeks ago when they played Cisco, they hadn't really punched in their weight class. Mm-hmm. Well, here's their weight class. But I'll tell you what, this Stamford team has been really fun to watch. And I think that their offense has been fantastic. Clee Whitfield, their running back, and Christian Duran, they're kind of a balanced attack. They do a lot of different things, and that is a hallmark of a Wayne Hutchinson coach ball club, is balance. And that's going to be a real challenge for this Hawley team that has had their ups and downs, right? They've got 2 losses on the season. They've got the loss to Jim Ned, which actually hasn't aged all that well. Mm-hmm. And then they had that loss to Albany, which, hey, you know what? That's the number 1 team, albeit in Division 2. But they're a team that still they're the defending state champs, and they've still got the playmakers. Keegan Abels, I think their quarterback, is really starting to settle in. We know the playmakers they've got on the outside in Chandler Myers and Deontay Ramon. A lot of this comes down to, in my mind, how much have they solved those defensive issues that really plagued them in week 1 against Jim Ned? How much has that defense grown up? Because this will be the big test for them. Huge game in the big country. We're going to talk with the head coach at Stamford coming up here in a moment, Stamford and Hawley. Then let's go to the woods, as a rare opportunity to actually learn something about Carthage. Mm-hmm. As the number 1 Carthage Bulldogs welcome in the 10th ranked Vandals. Carthage, this is their regular season finale. They have a Week 11 open date, so they can finish 10-0. They are now the owners of the state's longest winning streak, 25 in a row. And we will find out a lot more about them, because I think this is their biggest test since that Week 1 win over Kilgore, in my mind. They kind of cast aside center last week, and the offense really got going. And one of the questions we had was their quarterback, Jet Surratt, stepping in. 411 yards and 7 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, he's doing just fine.
He's settled in, I would say. And their defense, by the way, their defense is you're going to look at last week's game. They gave up 27 points. That's the lowest point total that center has scored in a game. But they're taking on a Van team that also has a coach's kid at quarterback in Jackson Moffitt, who's been very good as well. And their offense, their dynamic attack has been very good. The defense has been good as well. Again, this is a real test for Carthage. We need to cherish these data points. Carthage is your favorite, but keep an eye on this ball game. I'm really intrigued by this one, Carthage in Van. Then let's go to the 6-man ranks in a top 10 matchup in 1A Division 1, as the Borden County Coyotes visit the number 9 Rankin Red Devils for the District 7-5A or 7-1A Division 1 crown. Rankin has both these teams have losses on the year. Rankin has 2 of them. They lost to Westbrook, the number 1 team. They lost to number 1 and number 2, Westbrook and Knox City. Mm-hmm. Actually, Westbrook's not number 2, but your mileage may vary. Those are 2 of the very best teams in the state. And then Borden County also has a loss back in week 6. Remember, they lost to Abbott in a really fantastic game that was played in Gordon. This is a game that we've had circled for a while, because you look at this district and it's going to be it's a real top heavy district, because there's going to be a good team left out, and I think it's going to be Grady, who's a pretty good team. But for Borden County, I think that their defense has been a little bit more consistent. So if you want to go with them, I think you're well within your rights. But this Rankin team is very dangerous itself, and I think that they're playing their best football right now. I think they've shaken off those 2 losses pretty well. This is a fascinating game out there in six-man world, Rankin and Borden County. Then this is a real. I want to put a real hipster game on here, but let's go to Conroe. Big week in Conroe this week. As a matchup in the 6-man private school ranks. As the Pasadena First Baptist Christian Warriors have a huge game this week against the Conroe Covenant Cougars in what is certainly in the private school ranks the game of the week. This is 8-0 versus 8-0. It's number 1 versus number 3, and there's a lot to like about both these teams. They are both 8-0. They have both been absolutely dominant, and I want to say, boy, has First Baptist 45 all their teams? They played East Texas Homeschool, who was at the time state ranked within 19 a couple weeks ago. But this is a Conroe Covenant team that has been absolutely dominant themselves, and their defense is worth the price of admission. I would actually not be surprised if this is a relatively low-scoring affair. For a private school 6-man game, this is going to be fascinating. Number 1 versus number 3 in the private school 6-man rank. Keep an eye on this one. It is Pasadena First Baptist and Conroe Covenant. Finally, Pickle. Let's go to the DFW Metroplex as the undefeated number 3 ranked Mansfield Timberview Wolves take on the undefeated, that's right, Richland Royals in a district in a game for the district championship down there in Richland. There's a huge game going on out there in kind of Fort Worth area. Timberview is okay. Timberview is a dominant team, and when I say dominant, I mean they beat Dallas Sunset 90-0 last week. 90-0. Okay, this is a team that is rolling offensively, defensively. Everything about them has been fantastic. Their offense has been absolutely spectacular. But if you look at their schedule, they've outscored their opponents 417-66, but their best win is W.T. White?
Yeah, probably.
Beat them by 20, right? Now, Richland, I think, kind of same boat. You look at their schedule, and I don't know if there's necessarily a signature win. Probably that Mansfield Legacy win in the opener, which was a win over a 6A team, a middle-of-the-road 6A team. This is a fascinating matchup and an opportunity, I think, for Richland to make their appearance. Running back Michael Turner is the name to know for this Richland squad. Timberview, I think, has experience in big games, and that may end up showing through this. But this is a fascinating game out there in DFW. Mansfield Timberview taking on Richland, a matchup of unbeatens. There's not a ton of matchups of unbeatens, but this is one that is really, really fascinating. Of course, you can watch the biggest games, the biggest moments live, free, everywhere. Whip around coverage of the biggest games across the state of Texas, including a number of them on this screen. If you go to watch Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. on Texan Live, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for free.
Let's go.
For free. Make sure you tune in this week. This is the perfect week to tune in because you want to have your game. You want to have your eye on multiple games.
Yes.
So, yeah, and I don't want to give anything away for WTF. Watch that later today. Mm-hmm. But
a good portion of those games
will be
our spotlight games.
So keep an eye on that. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hope you'll consider going to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Coming up here in just a moment, we'll be joined by the head coach of the undefeated Stamford Bulldogs ahead of their big game against Hawley. Coach Wayne Hutchinson will join us, but first, let these ads wash over you.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Pickle, let's go to the hotline. It's a huge Week 10 of Texas high school football. Huge games across the state, including out there Big Country way. Let's go to Jones County. Pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Stamford Bulldogs, undefeated, Coach Wayne Hutchinson. Coach, how are you?
I'm good.
How are
good.
things?
How are you doing?
How are things in beautiful Stamford, Texas?
It's sunshiny today, so it's pretty nice.
I first want to ask you about the familiarity you have with this role. You are back for your second go-around there at Stamford after, of course, leading them to state championships back in 2012 and 2013. You returned to Stamford. I'm curious, how much has changed? How different is this job than than the one that you left back in 2013?
Honestly, it still seems the same. The facilities, definitely have changed a little bit, upgraded facilities, but, we still have a lot of the same teachers in the high school that was here the first time I was here. Same people in town. Everything just seems to be exactly the way it was when I left it. So, very familiar with the town, the school. We have a lot of great kids too. And, so it's been fun so far. Yes.
You guys, you took over this job and now you guys are off to a 7-0 start, more importantly, 4-0 in district play. When you kind of entering the season, if I had told you, hey, you're going to be 7-0 going into the game against Hawley, would that have surprised you, or is this about the expectation you guys had?
Yeah. We just told our kids, obviously there's a lot of tradition in Stamford, and the expectation is to do as good as you can and be the best every year that comes around. And so, that was our expectation when we took the job, is just try to be as good as we could by the end of the season and take 1 week at a time, try to get better. The kids definitely bought in and are really honestly playing at a high level right now. So I couldn't ask for any more out of these kids than what they've given.
We're talking with Wayne Hutchinson, the head coach of the Stamford Bulldogs here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at #TF Today. Coach, what's funny is that I think when people think back to your teams, especially the ones that had such great success in the early part of the last decade, they think of offense. They think of big-time offense, certain quarterbacks that we may discuss here in a moment. But I look at your team this year, and I think the real secret for your great teams has been the defensive side, and that has certainly been the case this year with this group of Bulldogs. What on the defensive side has you guys excited moving forward?
Yeah, I just think our kids really do a good job of executing our game plan that Coach Jones puts in each and every week. They've been very disciplined. They play really hard. They tackle well, and I think we have overall really good speed on the defensive side of the ball, and that always helps. And our kids just play hard, and they want to get after it. So they are playing really well on defense right now.
You guys are on the offensive side. It is a borderline shocking amount of balance that you guys have. I think you guys have thrown the ball 106 times and run the ball 154 times. You are about as balanced as it gets, and it's hard to pinpoint one guy in particular. But your junior quarterback Christian Duran has certainly stepped up in a big way. A guy that I know has been putting up some numbers. As the guy who gets to see him every day in practice, and as the guy who's been around great quarterbacks in your career, what is it about Christian Duran that really makes him special?
Number one, he's a great leader. He's really smart. He's not overly tall and not overly big, but for his size and stature, he's really, really, really tough. Mm-hmm. And he is a dual threat quarterback, which it seems like we've been blessed with that at Stamford for a long time, being able to throw and run. And he's one of those guys that's just picked the offense up really well. And like you said, we're balanced on offense. And it's not something that we just extremely try to do. It's just the way that it's been happening, because we have a lot of weapons over the field. It's hard to get the ball in each one of them's hands on a given night. And we've always approached the season as we're going to take what the defense gives us, and Christian's able to deliver that.
Talking with Wayne Hutchinson, the head coach of the Stamford Bulldogs here on Texas Football Today. Coach, obviously big week ahead. Tomorrow night, you guys are on the road taking on the defending state champs in Hawley for, certainly things can go crazy down the stretch, but one would think the district championship hangs in the balance here, at least a share. I don't want to ask you to give away your game plan, but when you take a look at what you're going to be up against tomorrow night with Hawley, what do you see?
Yeah, like you said, they're the defending state champions. They're very, very well coached, and they have a very good defense as well. So we're definitely going to have our hands full there. Mm-hmm. And they have two, of course, Coach Abel's son, quarterback, sophomore, throws the ball really well, gets it out of his hands really well. And they have two receivers that are 6'3", and obviously I think they've been recruited at the D1 level, and they're very talented and can definitely catch the ball. So, we got to limit their big plays, try not to give up any of those big touchdowns, put a little pressure on their quarterback. And then, we're going to have to take what they give us because their defense is a whole lot like ours, very quick, very tough, get after you. So like I said, we're just going to have to try to execute the best we can and limit our turnovers and see how the game comes out.
And finally, Coach, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about another quarterback that you've coached in the past, a guy who led you to a state championship, helped you in 2012, your son Hagen. I know he was a star at Midwestern State, and he's gotten I think he's following the family business and getting in the coaching world. Can you give folks an update on what Hagen Hutchinson is up to? Because I know he's a guy that we have a lot of fond memories of.
Oh yeah, and he tried the coaching for a couple of years. Decided that wasn't for him. He's a really good golfer and wanted to pursue the golf business. So right now he is an assistant golf pro out at River Creek Golf Course at Burke Burnett, right outside of Wichita Falls, and that's what he's been doing for about the last 6 to 8 years.
Well, I know that our producer Ashley Pickle just perked up because she's a big golfer, so she might be suddenly finding herself in Wichita Falls in Burke Burnett. He's Wayne Hutchinson. He's the head coach of the undefeated Stamford Bulldogs ahead of their big game with Hawley tomorrow night. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the great start, and go get them tomorrow night.
All right, thank you, and thank you for having me.
There he goes, Wayne Hutchinson, head coach of Stamford Bulldogs. Join us here, Texas Football Today, golf pro.
That's pretty dope.
Because he was a star. He was obviously a star at Stanford, led him to the state championship, but then he was awesome at Midwestern State too.
Yeah.
And I know he was coaching at Petrolia there for a moment, but hey.
That's like my dream.
You're gonna quit this thing and go be a goal. You're just gonna go hang out with Hagen Hutchinson, live in Burke Burnett.
Yeah.
Everybody just leave you alone and play golf.
Yeah, I see no issue with that.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It does.
Huge game tomorrow night there in the Big Country as undefeated Stamford takes on Hawley, and we appreciate Wayne Hutchinson's time. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Pickle, let's talk about our friends at TxDOT. Dave Campbell's Texas Football is proud to partner with TxDOT this season as they roll the TxDOT Roadshow into some of the biggest Texas high school football games across the state. Be sure to look for the TxDOT Roadshow at the game, where fans can participate in VR experiences, interactive video screens, quizzes, giveaways, and much more. TxDOT reminds fans to be careful on the road and always follow the speed limit, slow down when there's heavy traffic, road construction, or bad weather, and of course, always buckle up, you ding-dong. That's not in the copy points, but I'll just tell you, always buckle up, you ding-dong. This week, they're going to be out in Lexington. Massive game for the District 13-3A Division II crown as Rogers takes on Lexington. Both teams undefeated in district play. Rogers, the pistol flexbone offense is rolling with with Bryce Watson leading the way. Their defense has been pretty consistent. Taking on a Lexington squad that started off 1-2, but has really found their footing. I think sophomore quarterback Case Evans has really grown up in a big way. The one thing to keep an eye on in this game, it's always close. Three of their last 4 meetings have been decided by 1 possession. So it's the TxDOT Roadshow out there at Rogers and Lexington. Make sure you're heading on out there. If you see, go out there, see our friends at TxDOT at the TxDOT Roadshow. It's a pretty cool little setup they've got. So make sure you go check that out. And now a word from our partners. Takis is the presenting sponsor of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Sustainability Champions Award, spotlighting influential kids looking to pursue a career focused on the social, environmental, and economic well-being of our future. Be sure to check out this week's Spotlight Game of the Week, where we'll be spotlighting 2 Sustainability Champions Award winners. Thank you to Takis for your support of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Sustainability Champions Award. For more information, visit texasfootball.com. Dave Campbell's Texas Football has partnered with the North Texas Honda dealers to honor community helpers from across North Texas. Texas is fortunate to have so many great individuals that give back to their community in so many different ways. Thanks to the support of the helpful North Texas Honda dealers, we have an opportunity to shine a light on a few very deserving individuals. Congratulations to this week's recipients of the Helpful Honda Community Helper Award, and thank you for being helpful in your community. For more information, visit texasfootball.com. Dave Campbell's Texas Football is proud to partner with First National Bank of Omaha to present the Dave Campbell's Impactful Leadership Award presented by FNBO. The weekly award will recognize 10 influential Texas high school football athletes who are leaders both on and off the playing field. Congratulations to this week's winner of the Dave Campbell's Impactful Leadership Award presented by First National Bank of Omaha. To read more about what makes this week's recipient such a great leader, visit texasfootball.com. Pickle. Week 10 of the Texas high school football season is here. And as we've discussed multiple times on this show, I don't know if you've heard this. Have you heard the news?
You heard the news, Kev?
You heard the news, Kev? You hear this? It's a huge week.
Massive.
Shockingly large.
Gargantuan.
Just
bombastic.
Here's my Week 10 predictions for the Texas high school ball here on Texas Football Today. Welcome to Week 10 of the Texas high school football season. Biggest week ever? These are the picks. Welcome into the picks, your guide to the Texas high school football weekend. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I could start this intro talking about how, oh my gosh, it's a 2-week sprint to the Texas high school football playoffs, right? We're only 2 weeks left in the regular season, right? For some teams, this week, this is it. Season's over after this. They're going to be blowing up basketballs, getting ready for track season and whatever else they do when it's cold. But for a number of other teams, there's a lot on the line, playoff implications and all that jazz. That's where I'd normally start. Instead, I'm going to tell you that Week 10 of the 2023 Texas high school football season might be the craziest, biggest, wildest, most incredible week of regular season play we've seen in Texas high school football in like a decade. It's a shocking slate of games, okay? If you are into Texas high school football, this is nirvana. You have found the fireworks factory. This is going to be an awesome week of games in every corner of the state. It's only appropriate we start in DeSoto. 7 o'clock Friday night at Eagle Stadium in DeSoto. It's a matchup of the defending 6A state champs, unbeaten versus unbeaten, number 1 versus number 3, as the Duncanville Panthers take on the DeSoto Eagles. I told you it was a huge week of games. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, the trench play. There's a lot of star power on the display in this game. We're going to talk about a lot of them, whether you're talking about the incredible running back, Caden Durham for Duncanville, or you're talking about the outstanding playmakers like Boobie Feaster for DeSoto. But this is a classic take your eye off the ball type game, because I think this game is going to be determined up front between these two teams, specifically when DeSoto has the ball. Their offensive line has been a real boon for them this season, led by Ronell McClain. They've been very strong up front. Their offensive line has been excellent. But they're going up against one of the most ferocious fronts in Texas high school football, led by certified 5-star prospect Colin Simmons on the defensive end. This is a team that's given up 26 points this season. This is a team that's given up 26 points this season, right? This is good on good. Plain and simple. This is the ones running with the ones. This is going to be classic Texas high school football stuff. Strength on strength in the trenches. Who wins out up front? Key number 2, the quarterback duel. Okay, we talked about the fronts. Let's talk about the signal callers, because I think the quarterback matchup in this game is going to be really fun to watch. DJ Bailey, the quarterback for DeSoto, of course, led the Eagles to a state championship last year, and I think he's really grown throughout the course of his development. We saw him at state 7-on-7. He's put on about 15 pounds of good weight, and he looks really comfortable back there. The Sam Houston commit has been terrific and is especially dangerous throwing on the run. That is one thing that I think gives him a real advantage in this game, is escaping pressure, keeping his eyes downfield, and making targeted throws. Going up against the quarterback for Duncanville, Keelan Russell, who I think is really starting to blossom right now. The SMU commit has been at the controls of this Duncanville offense and looking very, very strong doing it. He throws one of the prettiest deep balls in Texas high school football, and that is going to be a real key in this one. Can they take the top off of this DeSoto defense? These two quarterbacks are box office. Who shines brightest in this matchup of state champs? And key number 3, the stakes. So we talked about it, right? These are the two defending 6A state champs. You've got Duncanville, the reigning 6A Division I state champ. You've got DeSoto, the reigning 6A Division II state champ. It's a matchup of unbeatens, right? In week 10, that's kind of crazy, but Duncanville is unbeaten. DeSoto is unbeaten. This is top 5 matchup, top 3 matchup. DeSoto's the number 3 team in our 6A rankings. Duncanville, the undisputed number 1 team in our rankings. A district title is on the line. District 11 6A, the district championship is up for grabs in this game at Eagle Stadium. Also, there's kind of nothing on the line here. What I mean by that is, as far as playoff implications are concerned, it's very unlikely there's going to be something on the line in this game. Duncanville almost certainly going to be the top seed in the Division I bracket coming out of District 11 6A, and DeSoto is going to go defend their 6A Division II state crown in the different bracket as the number 1 seed in Division II out of 11 6A. So there's not that on the line here. But don't tell that to either one of these teams. There's bad blood between them. They want to prove that they are the dominant force in South Dallas. So, with the stakes this high, who comes out on top? Who am I picking? I'm going with Duncanville. The number 1 team in the state gets the nod here on the strength of the running game and the defense, which is what it usually comes down to with Reginald Samples' ball clubs. Their defense has been absolutely outstanding, and running back Caden Durham is a real game changer. Now, I think there's an argument to be made that Duncanville's defense has not really been tested. Yeah, the stats are impressive, but DeSoto's going to be the best offense that they have played this year. DJ Bailey is a superstar. They've got a number of playmakers on the outside, including TJ Pride, who's really stepped up as a wide receiver weapon. They've got a number of backs in the backfield that I think are going to be ready for prime time. And let's not discount their defense, which has been pretty darn good themselves. Brandon Booker leading the way defensively. In the end, though, I think that the Duncanville front is going to be able to get some pressure on DJ Bailey, and they force a couple of turnovers and end up coming away with a very narrow win. Give me the Panthers. Let's go to Houston, 7 o'clock Friday night at Galena Park ISD Stadium. It is another top 10 matchup of unbeatens for the District 21 6A crown. I told you it's a crazy week of games as the Galena Park North Shore Mustangs take on the Umble-Atascocita Eagles. And unlike the Duncanville DeSoto game, there are real playoff stakes in this game. Right? The winner of this game is probably going to be the number 1 seed in the Division I bracket out of District 21 6A, and the loser is going to be the 2nd seed out of District 21 6A in Division I. So there's a lot on the line here. What do we make of Atascocita's struggle against CE King last week? right? CE King, good team, pushed them to overtime before Atascocita came away with the key stop in overtime to come away with the win. Was that just looking ahead to North Shore? Was that just kind of, figuring things out? I think that there is an argument to be made that Atascocita has not gone through the real kind of heart of this district like they are now. CE King is certainly a playoff team. North Shore, definitely a playoff team themselves. Now, I'm not necessarily worried about Atascocita. They got quarterback Zion Brown, who's been outstanding, and I think that this defense, led by Braylon Conley, has been the real star for Craig Stump's ball club. They will need to be a star against a North Shore machine that is rolling. Quarterback Caleb Bailey has been absolutely sensational returning from injury. They're running the ball well with DeAndre Hardiman. They've got a number of big-time playmakers on the outside, and of course, that defense is what you expect this North Shore defense to be. One thing that I'm keeping an eye on is, will North Shore really unleash Caleb Bailey as a runner in this game? They've kind of held him back, kind of kept the reins on him. Will they let him loose in what is functionally a district championship game? This game's going to be awesome. This game's going to be box office. You can watch it on TexanLive.com. I think that North Shore comes away with a very close win. Let's bounce back up to the DFW Metroplex. 7 o'clock Friday night at Northwest ISD Stadium in Justin. It is a state-ranked matchup of unbeatens for the District 4 6A crown as the South Lake Carroll Dragons take on the Byron Nelson Bobcats. And yeah, district title on the line. Opportunity for Byron Nelson to get their biggest win in program history on the line. Second consecutive year these two teams are meeting as undefeateds. A lot to like in this game. I told you it was a huge week of games. Byron Nelson's a team we probably haven't talked about enough, but I love this team. I think that their quarterback, Tom Van Groot, has stepped up in a big way at the quarterback spot. He had huge shoes to fill, but he has really blossomed beautifully as a quarterback, and he's got a great wide receiver core on the outside, and they've started to run the ball with Tucker James. But the real star of this team is their defense, which has been locked down, and that sets up what I think is a real fascinating matchup between this outstanding Byron Nelson defense and this South Lake Carroll offense that don't look now, but is starting to look like one of the most dangerous in the state of Texas. Georgia Tech commit Graham Knowles at the quarterback spot has really blossomed. I think they've got a number of receivers on the outside like Jacob Jordan, and they're running the ball. Guys like Davis Penn and the newly eligible Riley Wormley have added a new element to this offense. That's the box office matchup here, right? Is this Byron Nelson defense against the South Lake Carroll offense. This game's going to be a lot of fun. Would be really surprised if this game was decided by more than about 8-10 points, but I do think that South Lake Carroll goes on the road and gets a win. And let's go to the Brazos Valley. 7 o'clock Friday night at Tiger Stadium in College Station. It's the Battle of College Station, as College Station High School takes on A&M Consolidated in a critical District 11-5A Division I matchup. Actually, College Station can functionally clinch the district championship with a win here. Things could go crazy in week 11, but let's just look at it this way. If College Station wins this game, they're going to win the district championship, and it's easy to see why they're in this position. The 1-2 combo of quarterback Arrington Maiden and running back Aiden Martinez Brown has been sensational for them, and their defense has been up to par. Remember, they lost week 1, and since then they have been rolling. Taking on their rival A&M Consolidated, who their defense has been excellent, really, really good all year long. But on the offensive side, it's been kind of fits and starts. What they've really had success with recently is running ball. With Keyshawn Thomas, I want to see if they're able to run the ball in this game. To me, take the pressure off their quarterback, Will Hargett, and lean on that running game. This actually fits into a way that I think Consolidated has a great opportunity in this game. You lean on that running game with Keyshawn Thomas, you lean on that defense, and you win some game like 24-21. That is certainly on the table here. But I think that the firepower for College Station is a little bit too much, and I think the Cougars come away with a victory. But those are far from the only big games in Week 10 of the Texas high school football season, a stupid slate of games. Let's get to the lightning round. In San Antonio, I like Cibolo Steel over Converse Judson. In Austin, I'm going with Vandergrift over Cedar Park Vista Ridge. And way out east, I like Longview over Tyler. Almost too close to call in DFW, but I like Prosper in a close one over Allen. Give me Huntsville to take down Brenham. And it's the 100th meeting of Mid-County Madness. I like Port Neches Groves over Nederland. I'm going with Seymour over Windthorst. Fort Bend Ridgepoint takes down Fort Bend Travis. And give me Bernie over Somerset. I like Johnson City over Junction. Give me San Benito Rancho over Los Fresnos, and give me Roscoe to take down Miles. I'm taking Port Arthur Memorial over Barbers Hill. Give me Brownsville Veterans Memorial in a very close one over Harlingen South, and Willis takes down the Woodlands. Battle of Unbeatens in DFW, I like Mansfield Timberview over Richland. Give me Jourdanton to beat Lytle, and Texas High keeps rolling with a win over White House. Sneaky game out east, I like Hooks over DeKalb. Give me Wimberley to take down Lago Vista, and up in DFW, I like Denton Geyer over McKinney. Give me Jim Ned over Vernon. San Diego takes down Rio Hondo, and it's a big game in the Tall City. I like Legacy over unbeaten Midland. I'm going with Bushland over Dalhart. Tidehaven keeps rolling with a win over Bowling, and I like Dickinson over Clear Creek. I'm going with Hitchcock over Hallettsville. Whitney very close over Grandview, and give me Holiday over Wichita Falls City View. I'm going with Beckville over Harleton. Mart takes down Dawson, and give me Kirbyville over Orangefield. Down in San Antonio, I like San Antonio Taft over San Antonio John Jay. In Central Texas, I'm going with Waco Connolly over Madisonville. And the other huge game in District 21 6A, I like Humble Summer Creek over CE King. Wink gets by Sterling City. Forney outmuscles McKinney North, and give me Iowa Colony in a close one over Bay City. I'm going with Klein Collins over Tomball. Chilton bounces back with a win over Iola. And a huge game in the Piney Woods, I like Carthage over Van. I like Collinsville in a close one over Munster. Idalou, small upset over Littlefield. And give me Beeville Jones over Lavernia. I'm going with Wichita Falls Rider over Plainview, and way out west in El Paso, I like Del Valle over East Leta. Our six-man game of the week is a state-ranked showdown. I like Borden County over Rankin, and give me Hawley to take down Stamford. And those are the picks. What am I wrong about? Which games did I leave out? Leave comments down below. Don't forget that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks for watching. Enjoy week 10 of the Texas high school football season. We'll see you. Nice picks, dummy. I guarantee I get at least one of those right, though.
Well, the odds are high.
It was long. The video was long enough, and I made enough picks.
Yeah, 13 minutes of worth of picks. I would think one of them at least would be right.
You never know. Maybe this is the week. It is a crazy week. You never know.
This is true.
But anyway, you can find that on our YouTube page and on TexasFootball.com. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
Coming up at 2 o'clock today, Women Talking Football, WTF. We will be revealing the incredible slate of spotlight games that we'll have on Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight. And then we'll be talking some Super Syntax and Hill Country Ball.
Yeah. Do you have a guest?
Yes, we do. Ooh, hello.
That's fine.
Nicole Sharon from Kaysen down in Waco.
Nice. Very cool. Make sure you tune into that. WTF coming up here at the 2 o'clock, wherever you're watching this podcast. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Wayne Hutchinson, head coach of the Stanford Bulldogs, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.